You are about to watch humanity's strongest warriors get absolutely crushed by the invaders. Xenon Glorious and Eighth Coven. Standing alone. Mankind's literal last hope for survival. Even with his entire squad wiped out, this absolute beast unleashed his divine blade's final form. Buffed by his mage, our golden warrior finally lands a devastating critical hit on the enemy. For a few glorious minutes, my guy was operating in God mode, but even that insane power wasn't enough to drop their leader. Xenon's body was literally breaking down, but he did not give a single damn about dying. Then came the plot twist. Eighth trapped him inside a magical prison, hoping for a different future. With their entire civilization basically gone, the 9-star mage fired up an ancient tool. The goal? Send Xenon straight back into the past. This relic held literal god-tier power strong enough to break the rules of the world. Next thing we see, he wakes up in a new body, completely confused about what happened. A maid walks in, and our traumatized guy literally begs her for a sword. His mind is still stuck on the battlefield fighting those invaders. That is when reality smacks him hard. He suddenly realizes he is not in his own body. Now, pay close attention, this is where everything changes. He regressed 10 years back, waking up as Master Noah, the 4th son of the Daskell family. The crazy part, the Daskell family are notorious rivals of the Holy Swordsman, his own former glorious family. Handed his daily medicine, our boy takes one look and smashes the cup right on the floor. Right on cue, Oscar and his goons stroll in, taunting him for wasting tea filled with the so-called kindness of the Daskell family. Noah instantly calls their bluff, revealing that the tea was actually straight poison. Thanks to his holy powers, he can sense any impurity, spotting the toxic trap in a split second. Oscar threatens to shove it down his throat. Total confirmation right there, his own twisted family is trying to murder him while he is bedridden. Noah is more than happy to teach them a brutal lesson, even in this unfamiliar weak body. Barely awake, and these arrogant bastards are already ordering their men to tie our boy down. Words will not work here. Instead, Noah delivers a savage kick to the stomach, sending the first dude flying right into the wall. Ducking the second swing, Noah counters with a vicious hook to the face. Both thugs are now shaking from those heavy impacts. He tried to use his full strength for an instant knockout, but his body just would not cooperate. Noah's frame is just way weaker than Xenon's original vessel. But the real question here is, why the hell poison the 4th son anyway? He plans to beat those answers out of them. But first he has to handle these idiots drawing their swords to play rough. Noah definitely did not see this coming. What really shocks him is seeing glowing screens popping up, displaying detailed information right over their heads. You and I both know what this means, right? He unlocked an overpowered appraisal skill, checking their status. But why does he even have this rare cheat skill? It makes him wonder if Noah's original body was already born with this hidden talent. Since he is up against absolute rookies, dodging their sloppy sword swings takes literally zero effort. My guy speed blitzes the first dude, landing a fierce kick right to the face. The second guy tries cutting him down, but Noah perfectly deflects it. The destructive force behind his blade alone sends the thug crashing down hard. Oscar is genuinely impressed by the Daskell family's raw might, completely amazed that sickly Noah could put up such a fight. Our boy dares the leader to attack, but suddenly his entire body shivers and goes weak. A sharp pain erupts from his mana core. Here's the deal. The magic swordsmen of the Daskell family draw all their power from their mana core, the total opposite of the holy core, which Xenon used back in his previous life. Two opposing cores should never exist in one body. Right now, Noah's mana core is bursting painfully, locking down his movements. Seeing his target paralyzed, the mastermind smiles. He has got Noah exactly where he wants him and drops a twisted little fact. He casually reveals that the medicine Noah took for years was spiked with a very specific dangerous poison. Basically, his mana core was constantly fed wild, uncontrollable energy to destroy him. Because Noah pushed his limits during the fight, the overloaded core could not handle it and went completely berserk. That overwhelming surge of power will kill him instantly. With zero options left, Noah makes a massive gamble to save his own life. Even though he has never tried it before, he forces his holy core to clash against and suppress the berserk mana core. Against all odds, the insane gamble actually works. A second later, our absolute beast is back on his feet. So, what do you and I take from this? Never count him out. Boom, he triggers his void shift ability. Alright, stick with me, you and I are dropping straight into this crazy clash. Dark magic tendrils literally coat that man's entire blade. Noah pulling off this reaction while completely nerfed. Absolutely insane. Plus, he's actually kind of impressed by Oscar's sword skills, way better than his pathetic lackey. But Oscar takes that praise as a straight-up insult. He thinks he's being mocked. But Noah doesn't care about this guy's fragile ego at all, easily deflecting the heavy strike. Oscar desperately reroutes, trying to strike from behind. But Noah, he blocks that blind spot with absolute surgical precision. No matter how many furious strikes come his way, our main character parries every single one with total finesse. The clash breaks and they jump back to gain distance. Thanks to that exchange, Noah finally figures out how the void shift actually works. That disappearing trick, it completely drains his mana core. A drawn-out fight is a terrible idea for him. Meanwhile, Oscar starts talking trash, mocking Noah for breathing heavy so early in the battle. But Noah is an absolute menace at trash talk. He fires back, calling out how Oscar is literally shaking in his boots. Pure rage bait. Oscar vanishes into thin air again, screaming that Noah will never see this next attack coming. The void shift floods the entire room, masking his physical presence completely in thick fumes. Watch closely, you and I need to see how he handles this incoming blind attack. His intuition is downright godly. Noah reacts before Oscar even launches the attack, slicing him down in one absolutely destructive finishing blow. The guy hits the floor, choking on blood, his brain completely short-circuiting. The young master breaks it down. Physical camouflage means nothing if your raw presence still leaks out. That total overconfidence. It just dug his own grave. Bleeding out and defeated Oscar can only stare terrified by Noah's unbelievable hidden power. Not that Noah could explain it anyway, considering he barely understands this crazy new power himself. During that decisive strike, something wild happened. He felt his original holy core seamlessly merging. Now it pulses in perfect sync with the dark mana core of the Dazkul family. This means Noah might actually surpass his past life's peak strength, giving him a real shot at saving the entire world. Simply put, all those brutal past sacrifices meant something. Later, maids frantically rush in to check on him, screaming for a doctor. But honestly, our guy is looking perfectly fine. Instead, he's just staring at this tiny dragon chilling by his window. The little guy actually drops off a sealed letter. It's an official summons from Lord Victor, the head of the house. The message demands Noah officially enter the brutal family succession battle. You and I both know what this means. Everyone in the family is hiding something, and he has to dig up the truth immediately. He looks right at the maids, demanding some real answers. Selena gets real with him. The entire Dazkul family already knows. This sick conflict exists just to guarantee the family stays overpowered. Honestly, it's a survival game where you crush rivals and rip out their mana cores. Blood relatives ruthlessly hunting each other down, stealing power from the weak. Absolutely savage. The last one, breathing, isn't just crowned the absolute strongest of the generation. They claim the throne as family head. And suddenly, Noah realizes exactly why the Dazkuls barely mattered in his past life. They were too busy slaughtering their own flesh and blood like wild animals. Lydia nervously asks if he'll participate. The answer: just look at that wicked smirk. He looks ready to absolutely wipe the floor with his entire twisted family. See, standard noble families are loved by the public, parading around as holy knights wielding bright, radiant divine energy. You definitely can't say that about the Dazkul family. They are way too edgy to be loved by the masses. They literally symbolize pure dread, strictly because their bloodline messes with raw demonic power. Total dark, mysterious vibes. But make no mistake, Victor Dazkul, the current head, is humanity's absolute strongest swordsman. Noah finally heads up to face him. He stops right at the massive doors, ready to see the truth himself. Stepping inside, he plays it cool, politely bowing his head. The room is packed. First up is Damon, the eldest son, then Julia, the eldest daughter. Beside her are Cece, the second son, and Eve, the second daughter. And finally, the absolute scumbag who actually poisoned him in the first place, Skull Dazkul, the third son. Big sister seems genuinely glad he recovered. But Noah casually drops a bomb. He already knows what caused his illness. Julia assumes he'll just rest up. But dropping jaws across the room, he demands to jump straight back into training. So what do you and I take from this? The orange-haired punk calls him trash, but we just watched Noah absolutely roast him for lacking the guts to fight. Skull completely freezes at that response. That definitely strikes a nerve, but the others quickly shush them. Lord Victor is finally here. Everyone immediately drops their heads in pure awe. The heavy aura radiating off this guy is literally enough to freeze Noah completely solid. Stick with me here because everyone from his past life feared this guy, Victor Dazkul, the strongest 9th star swordsman alive. The family head welcomes the room, declaring that the council meeting is officially starting. Victor locks eyes with Noah, directly questioning his participation. Did the kid actually cure his sickness, and what exactly does he plan to achieve now? With a smirk, our boy drops a bomb. He is going to win this entire succession war and rule the family. Victor warns his youngest son. He makes it crystal clear that he is basically declaring an all-out war against everyone currently standing in this room. But Noah corrects him. It isn't just the people in the room, it's a war against the entire family. He isn't just planning to crush his siblings, he fully intends to climb the ranks and take down his own father. The absolute sheer arrogance of this kid. Daddy Dearest instantly humbles him. He unleashes a terrifying godlike aura that practically suffocates Noah, revealing the true power of a legendary mana core. Victor asks if the boy thinks he can actually overpower him. Noah doesn't even blink. He says, yes. Amused Victor asks why he is so incredibly desperate for all this power. The young master stares him down. He refuses to ever let anyone steal what belongs to him again. This bold answer totally entertains the patriarch. He loves that insane ambition. It is exactly what a true Dazgul family member should act like. Right then and there, he officially grants Noah permission to enter the deadly succession war. Nobody dares to object. And you're going to want to watch this. Lord Victor actually encourages his son to keep craving that absolute power. Cut to the family training grounds. Noah is out here effortlessly slicing through practice dummies like they are paper. His body is definitely getting stronger, but honestly, his stats are still absolute garbage. Plus, he has a much bigger issue to deal with. His mana core completely fused with his holy core, meaning his entire fighting style has dramatically changed from the past. He can't just spam those overpowered holy attacks anymore. Honestly, our guy has no idea how his new abilities actually work or how to control them yet. His top priority is figuring out this special core immediately. If his enemies catch on to his secret before he masters it, it is absolutely game over for him. Suddenly, Julia shows up. She spotted him training from afar. She actually compliments his form. The older sister admits that Damon has been the absolute frontrunner to take over the family so far. But now that Noah stepped up, she is super curious about his actual power level. Julia prefers the old-school approach. She draws her blade and goes straight for a lethal slash at his neck. Noah barely dodges the deadly ambush. She makes it incredibly clear she didn't come down here just to have a friendly little chat. And just like that, the duel kicks off. This is Noah's perfect opportunity to push his new limits. Noah unleashes heavy strikes, but Julia flawlessly blocks every single hit before brutally kicking him away. She gives him props, but points out his technique is sloppy. She taunts him for being weak after talking so big earlier. Meanwhile, Noah realizes something terrifying: she has already broken through to the 7th star tier. Calling him a total letdown, she dashes right back in. Her lightning-fast blade catches him completely by surprise. The only reason he doesn't lose his head, he forcibly channels the holy mana core into his sword. This is a massive mistake. You and I both know, if he keeps flashing that core, his secret is completely blown. Julia narrows her eyes at his energy. This is the exact core everyone always called a total trash failure. The whole family thought he was born broken. But this confirms that from day one, the youngest brother actually possessed an incredibly rare dual affinity core. Sure, it looks like a defect to outsiders. But as long as Julia doesn't realize he's combining two separate powers, Noah still has a major hidden advantage right now. Noah smirks, daring her to prove he is just a failure. He charges in first, but she effortlessly blitzes right past him. Super casually, she asks if he even knows the real reason behind this brutal succession war. To Noah, that answer is painfully obvious. It is the mana cores. She smiles, seeing he gets it. Erupting with violent blood-red mana, his big sister coldly demands he hand over his core right now. Realizing playtime is officially over, Noah yells for his actual sword. Selena tosses it over and he grabs the hilt right in the nick of time. Julia doesn't even give him a second to breathe. She instantly crashes down on him with a heavy, devastating strike. He's barely blocking. That's where we leave it. You gotta see what happens next. But he's dodging with pure style. Every swing impresses Julia, completely hyping up her thirst for an all-out battle. This makes her wonder, can he actually survive the next hit? Because she is now activating the Shadow Flame style's deadly first form. Trust me, you and I know this technique means trouble. Blocking is the only option he has left. He braces himself as she charges at full speed. Boom. The monumental clash sends crazy shockwaves everywhere. Our boy is totally stunned that his sister is just casually fighting him one-handed. But Julia dares him to force her to use both. And bro is basically like, challenge accepted. He immediately parries the heck out of her, literally forcing her to use both hands just to block a surprise attack from behind. Noah is visibly hyped about landing that slick trick. Well, the dude immediately gets launched for ticking her off. A serious Julia hits like a total truck, though she honestly seems mildly annoyed that he forced her hand. Even tapping into his dual cores, he just cannot handle her raw power at all. That last attack completely drained his tank, which means this fight is officially game over. Julia wonders if the youngest actually has any clue why the crazy Dazgul family doesn't just murder each other in cold blood instantly. Simple, the more powerful a core gets, the slower it actually evolves. That is exactly why you do not target weak cores while they are still evolving so fast. Waiting to harvest them at their peak is the whole point. But the crazy thing about her little brother is that he actually managed to not only block her insane strikes but counter them. Now pay attention here. Since his core is actually that strong, she decides it is a perfect time to steal it. Going totally berserk on him, Julia unleashes the terrifying 8th form of the Shadow Flame style. But right before she rips that core out, somebody jumps in and physically blocks Julia from dropping that massive attack. This guy warns that if she goes crazy, her brother will actually die. But this greedy menace is just super thirsty for mana cores. She starts yelling at Kyle for ruining it. The man bluntly emphasizes that Noah is barely sitting at the 2-star level. That completely shocks her system. A measly 2-star actually managed to block heavy hits from a 7th-star monster like her. Absolutely wild. Kyle confirms it, having investigated properly under their father's strict orders. Because if he was actually stronger, he would not have burned out his limits that fast. Realizing her mistake, Julia just sheathes her sword casually, reminding her little brother she will steal his core someday. The second his core fully matures, she is taking it. It is only a matter of time. You and I would panic, right? But instead of biting the bait, this madman just smiles and agrees to her literal threat. Walking back, his big sister is super confused about his weird power source. The kid is definitely hiding something big, which intrigues her, making her honestly thrilled he is leveling up differently. Meanwhile, let's cut over to Oscar getting completely humiliated by the third son for failing his mission. The whiny brat's skull never got the same level of hype as Noah. The very thought is unacceptable to this insufferable idiot. But then, his servant slides in with a highly interesting report. This sparks another garbage plan to plot against his little brother, completely promising Noah's ultimate demise. Apologizing for the delay, Kyle officially introduces himself as the brand new personal instructor for Noah. Lord Victor assigned him personally to track the boy's progress and properly compensate for his sickness. Popping appraisal, we see Kyle as a solid 7th star. Maybe even 8th star if you count his insane sword skills. Naturally, Noah asks if they should kick off training right away. Nope, there is actually a direct order from his father to investigate and clear the mana pool. It is a weird state where mana concentration just endlessly skyrockets thanks to an anomalous condition. The main goal is to completely wipe out frenzied monsters. Sounds like fun, and Noah totally plans to exploit this opportunity for his own benefit. Cut to the next scene where the Duskull squads are literally wiping out monsters across the zone. They figure that focusing on weak mobs is a total waste. Noah and Kyle observe the chaos. The instructor really does not understand the appeal of the boy coming from his father's side. Suddenly, they get called over for an emergency situation. 3 kids are knocked completely unconscious, which means Noah has to make a tough leadership call. Obviously, clearing the mana pool is still their absolute top priority, and they just don't have time to backtrack. So, they are dragging the unconscious kids along for the ride, pushing much deeper into the forest, where the mana concentration gets insanely thick with every single step. This heavy aura perfectly implies the mana pool is at the center. You and I are in for a wild ride. The area lord is waiting, and right on cue, the massive Scorpia boss monster finally reveals its terrifying presence. It is one seriously ugly bug. Stick with me here, because things just got real. Noah wants the kids safe, while Kyle panics over this surprise. A rank threat. They desperately need a plan. Scorpia swings a giant pincer, almost taking out 3 of them at once. Thankfully, the crew dodges that deadly instant kill. Crazy power and blinding speed. But Noah, he just charges straight into the chaos. Despite being just a 2-star rookie, Scorpia locks onto him. But our guy is completely ready for all this smoke. Channeling his holy mana core, he swings hard, insanely parrying the beast's giant tail strike. Still, the biggest danger is coming from above. Scorpia flexes its main weapon, unleashing a massive volley of highly toxic acid blasts, which our main character flawlessly dodges without breaking a sweat. The boss switches tactics, firing the massive spike straight off its tail. It shoots like a heavy cannonball, ready to completely skewer anyone foolish enough to stay in its path. Noah does not even flinch. He parries the absolute heck out of it, leaving his squad and his veteran instructor speechless at his wild sword skills. But get this, that stinger regenerates instantly, letting Scorpia spam those super heavy attacks. Our boy casually blocks it, riding the momentum to force an opening and bring down a brutal slash. Now watch closely, because here is the problem. Even with a direct hit, that monstrous exoskeleton armor is way too tough. Kyle is honestly stunned the young master is this strong. Knowing he cannot take this boss out alone, our guy yells for Kyle to jump in and help force a real opening for a critical hit. The instructor steps right up, clashing his sword against that giant pincer, and actually holding his ground. This lets Noah slide past the danger, jumping straight onto the monster's claws to reach a totally exposed weak point. Boom, he jams harvested spider fangs right into the cracks, dealing massive damage and totally stunning this giant beast. The boss crashes down hard. Kyle is absolutely blown away that Noah weaponized the venom from spiders they killed earlier. That stolen venom actually melts the tough armor, making their next attacks hit super easily. But hold up, this monster is not done. It goes completely berserk, spawning magic circles out of nowhere. Honestly, this scorpion might need its own anime right now. Hundreds of acid bombs suddenly lock right onto them. Kyle quickly pops his magic style, throwing up a seriously epic demonic barrier wall to max out their physical defense. Noah calmly calls out that the timing is perfect. Time for the grand finale. He launches himself straight at the boss, dodging every single blast and jumping way up. He remembers a crazy, flashy move his sister used in their duel earlier. Noah plans to steal it for himself, forging a new style called Light Shadow Sword Dance. Fueled by light and dark, you and I both know how this ends. The strike connects completely, detonating Scorpia from the inside out. This is absolute peak power from a 2-star rookie. Though he successfully copied a fraction of his sister's ridiculous power, he totally admits his execution was still pretty sloppy. Anyway, he just leaves all the messy cleanup for Kyle. The confused instructor asks where he is going, but our guy has some secret protagonist business to handle right now. He sneaks off into the woods looking for clues. See, the creation of random mana pools today is basically an unsolved mystery. But thanks to his past life in that glorious ancient family, he knows exactly what spawns them. It is all caused by an illegal magical tool sucking up tons of local energy. Basically an artificial power core. Following the strange energy trails, Noah chops straight through the exact tree hiding this sketchy magical artifact. This time, it happens to be a ring. He rips it out, shutting down the corrupted mana pool in this zone forever. Walking back, a sudden scream drops and he sprints over, only to find out those rescued kids are acting super weird right now. One of the guards panics, yelling they have a massive new problem. Because hundreds of monsters are closing in from literally everywhere. Trolls, orcs, giant spiders, scorpions, kids, and deadly wolves. Totally surrounded, Noah does not even sweat it, readying his blade. The first attack comes from the blind spot. Thankfully, Kyle slides in just in time for the save, and Noah orders him to buy precious seconds for a counterattack plan. The crazy part, Noah realized those weird collars on the children are totally acting like magical vacuum cleaners right now. These horrible items literally suck out human energy to fuel their own monstrous strength. In his past life, this evil tech ruined the Daskul family. Yes, that pun was intended. Kyle screams that their defense will not hold against this endless monster wave. If our boy does not cook up a plan fast, they are absolute dead meat. So, what do you and I expect next? He meditates, hunting for the true mastermind in the shadows. Alright, stick with me here. Using both his light and dark powers, Noah successfully tracks down our main target. Knowing the exact location, Noah dashes off on his own to crush the mastermind, leaving the others to protect the kids. He is popping monster heads off just like Gojo during his second Shibuya domain expansion, rushing straight out to confront this operator in an open field. Noah yells at the coward to step out of hiding. Wasting absolutely zero time, the enemy suddenly lunges from behind. But dodging a cheap sneak attack is child's play for the young master. The operator is genuinely stunned, totally shocked that this Daskul family prodigy even sensed him. Straight to the point, Noah demands a name. But obviously, this assassin has zero intention of spilling his secrets today, which works out perfectly because the young master wanted to beat the answers out of him anyway. The battle kicks off with a massive sword clash. The enemy is fascinated by his mana core, but Noah keeps his mouth shut and cranks his own energy to the max. The operator suddenly unleashes the second form of his Yuan style. Dark energy explodes from multiple floating swords that he controls like deadly projectiles. He fires every single one of those dark blades at Noah. Noah has to dodge an absolute barrage of attacks all at once, spinning through them like an absolute boss. While gracefully dodging, he quickly pops his appraisal skill to figure out exactly who the heck he is dealing with right now. Watch closely now, his name is Darius, a 4 or 5 star fighter who actually thinks he has the upper hand here. Sure, his sword skills are pretty garbage, but that mana control is off the charts. Noah decides to close the gap and slice this guy up in close quarters combat. However, that endless storm of flying swords is getting tough to block. So our young master kicks it into high gear. He dashes right into Darius's face and unleashes a brutally heavy sword swing. Despite the massive strike, Darius just mocks him for using such a painfully predictable attack. Then he activates a lethal technique aiming right for the Daskul prodigy's wide-open blind spots. Noah immediately triggers his mass style, eating the hits using his dark light shift technique. The effect is totally wild. Out of nowhere, our boy teleports right behind his enemy, looking like Minato Namikaze or some insanely high-level ninja. Before Darius can even twitch to defend himself, he gets chopped down by a perfectly clean swing. His arrogance literally became his downfall. Spitting up blood, Darius begs to know how he pulled off that move. Well, Noah actually picked it up during his previous duel with Julia. The craziest perk of Noah's dual core. He can perfectly mimic almost any technique just by understanding the core nature of light and dark. But merely copying moves is absolutely not the only thing this guy can do. He plans to master these stolen skills and push them to an entirely new level. Anyway, now that Darius is eating dirt, it is time for him to confess who ordered the hit. Refusing to surrender, Darius screams that a single cut won't defeat him, suddenly pulling out a mysterious vial. He chugs the whole thing right in front of him, and honestly Noah just stands there and lets it happen. You and I both know this anime trope, right? The desperate villain transforms into an absolute monster. Yep, basically a green goblin. Except this guy is built like a hulked-out Tarzan. Not even Noah expected this fight to take such a crazy turn. The dude even has Vegeta's spiky hair, but with a way better hairline. Regardless, Noah readies his blade to face this evolved threat. Their weapons clash, blasting shockwaves everywhere, but shockingly, the young master gets violently pushed back by the beast's raw, overwhelming physical strength. He simply cannot keep blocking these massive hits, while Darius just laughs like a maniac. The monster even tries biting our boy's head off with those nasty teeth. Noah desperately dodges rapid claw attacks, gliding through the chaos just to stay alive. Blocking is impossible right now. Jumping high into the air, Noah finally gets some precious distance to regroup and plan a solid counterattack. Just dodging won't win this fight, and his stamina is draining fast. The only way out of this nightmare is straight through. So the young master stays perfectly calm, waiting for the raging beast to jump at him. This mutant Darius actually thinks our swordsman gave up in pure despair. He fully believes his next strike will be the finishing blow, but that is dead wrong. Noah just casually waves his hand, activating his brand new magic tool to summon a heavy defensive barrier. Oh, and fun fact, this magic shield does way more than just protect. The recoil hits so insanely hard that the monster is launched backward into the sky, completely wide open. Noah smirks, genuinely happy that he is finally mastering all these overpowered skills from his past life. With Darius completely defenseless in midair, Noah leaps right up to meet him. He unleashes the legendary magic, holy style, bipolar blade. Some people have crazy X's, but our guy has a literal bipolar magic sword. That absolute burst of dual energy shreds the monster, ending this deadly battle forever. So what do we learn here? Never mess with a guy wearing a magic ring that nullifies attacks and blasts back tremendous shockwaves. Alright, you and I are jumping right back in. With his fight finished, he rushes back to the group. His friends are literally fighting for their lives. The monster waves are completely overwhelming. Even Kyle is basically hitting his absolute limit here. One massive beast steps up to finish him off. Kyle is totally helpless. But then the monster stops inches from his face, turns around, and just walks away. Yeah, weirdly enough, all the monsters just retreat, and walking into the clearing, it is Noah finally back. The crazy part, everyone actually survived. Since our main character handled the big boss, things are finally starting to look up. He still doesn't know who ordered the hit, but he rips the collars off the kids, completely freeing them. Cut to the estate. Our boy is absolutely furious. Those kids almost died on his watch, and he hates it. Now, it is personal. He is hunting down whoever dared to sabotage their entire mission. A maid tips him off about Eve, basically the Daskul family's absolute mastermind. She has the answers, so he marches right to her door. But his brother Cece blocks the entrance. Siblings or not, nobody gets past. Eve is the ultimate Daskul information broker. Knowing Lydia's intel is spot on, our guy has zero patience. He straight up demands Cece to move. But Cece smirks, claiming he is Eve's bodyguard now. With Noah leaking crazy killing intent, there is no way he's letting him in. Noah promises he just wants to talk, but the second son is not buying that excuse at all. Realizing words are useless here, our boy draws his sword. He'll force his way inside. Cece draws his own weapon, rushing in for a heavy first strike, but Noah casually deflects it like it's absolutely nothing. Now watch closely. You and I are about to see Noah completely embarrass his brother. Pushed back, Cece activates his stone lance skill. Hundreds of rock spears pop up, totally ready to invent some brand new holes in Noah's body. But just like an anime protagonist spamming their main attack, Noah swings rapidly, destroying everything. This forces Cece to pull out his crushing fang rock blade. He literally makes a sword out of pure rock. A super confusing move, to be honest. Cece dashes back in, his attacks get insanely heavy, and now Noah is the one getting pushed backward. Then Cece misses one swing. But Noah notices something wild. Cece has way too many attack patterns. Fighting this guy without a proper strategy is basically suicide. He uses appraisal and discovers Cece is an 8-star fighter. But get this, his mana core is shockingly weak, only level 5. This proves Cece is a genius, blending magic and swordplay perfectly to cover his own weaknesses. So how will he handle a pure head-to-head clash of raw strength? Noah activates the Mei style, unleashing the light shadow sword dance. Massive energy pulses out from his totally unique mana core. Cece is genuinely shocked, realizing he has to go all out. He switches to his Rai-style second form, pulling demonic energy to create pure black thunder. The Rai style is a rare Daskul family technique. Kyle actually warned him about these different fighting styles. Specifically, the Rai style focuses on godlike speed. It is basically considered an unavoidable strike. Cece smirks, pretty impressed that his little brother knows the secrets of his skills. You and I both know knowledge won't block this hit. Noah stands his ground, daring his brother to bring it on. Cece launches forward at ridiculous speed. He literally turns into ravaging red thunder, closing the gap in a split second. Timing it perfectly, Noah drops his blade and clashes against Cece's ultimate move. A massive explosion rocks the room. When the dust clears, Noah is still standing. But he definitely took damage. The sheer force of blocking that blow was insane. His dual style couldn't fully stop the Black Thunder. Even Noah's copied skills have a hard cap on their power. They are imperfect, meaning he can't rely on them forever. Before round 2 can start, Eve's voice echoes out, ordering both of them to stop. She watched the whole thing and finally invites Noah into her room. She wants to know why they were fighting. Cece complains that his brother barged in with crazy bloodlust, something a loyal bodyguard can't ignore. But wait, why is a high-ranking Dazkul acting like a cheap bodyguard anyway? Eve admits she has zero combat skills. Cece then demands to know why Noah is here. So what do you and I take from this? The succession war means nothing. Eve already knows Noah is just hunting for intel on those assassins. Stick with me here, knowing everything is basically her brand. She is ready to spill the secrets, but every single deal has a catch. Noah asks what she wants. The broker immediately brings up the infinite library. A massive, bottomless labyrinth so deep it absolutely messes with your head. It holds every piece of lost human wisdom ever recorded. A whole city surrounds it, packed with scholars and adventurers hunting for secrets. But yeah, it is also crawling with deadly monsters. Eve wants him to dive inside and grab a specific book called Un. That is her ultimate price for the intel. Luckily, our boy knows it well. Even in his past life, this exact same book completely flipped magic theory on its head. It saved countless lives during the Invader Wars, though it still could not stop the world from ending. Securing an item like that, priceless. Noah accepts the deal. They shake on it. Wasting no time, he grabs his maids and heads straight to Arcanium, the infinite library city. But this labyrinth is terrifyingly complex. If you get lost in there, game over. So our main character desperately needs a veteran guide who can actually navigate this chaotic maze. He ducks into an alleyway. Meanwhile, back home, Eve is sipping tea when the third son, that totally annoying imbecile, barges in demanding intel. The broker is honestly stunned this jackass even showed up. Skull fakes, needing his sister's help, acting super confused that CE is missing. Since CE is out on an urgent quest, Eve is totally unguarded. A straight-up threat from Skull. But her powerful subordinates have her back. She coldly asks what he actually wants here. Now watch this power play. Skull thinks it is absolute madness that the youngest matched blows with Julia. He demands the secret behind Noah's strength. Shockingly, Eve drops a bomb she already knows his best assassin failed. She shuts Skull down completely, stating that leaking this would ruin the balance of the succession war. Favoring one candidate means every single sibling would target her. Strict neutrality is survival. The third son realizes she absolutely will not cooperate. Eve smirks, claiming he would need to pay a massive price for her to risk her own neck. The malicious brother promises she will find out soon enough. Anyway, let us jump right back to Arcanium. Noah pushes through the massive crowds, stepping into a very specific store that triggers old past life memories. The owner, Ozra Harvest, immediately tells our boy to buzz off because they are closed. Noah stays calm, explaining he is not buying gear. He wants to hire Ozri as his library guide. The man instantly rejects him. He claims he quit guiding and is not even the city's best anyway. You and I both know this heavy rejection feels super weird, especially since this guy loves the infinite library more than anyone. Noah pushes back, demanding the real reason. Ozri yells that this mission is way too dangerous for a kid. Catching his own temper, Ozri sighs and apologizes. Things have just been incredibly rough for him lately. Suddenly, the door opens. To Noah's absolute shock, it is his sister Julia casually waving hello. She spotted him during her own mission and trailed him here. Honestly, she is basically just stalking him. Ozri instantly scrambles over to the Supreme Julia Dazkul. He had totally been brushing Noah off earlier. But seeing her, the man accepts the job immediately, provided that Julia joins them on this exact mission. The young master is completely lost here. Ozri quietly leads them both into a back room. Inside, his wife lies completely unconscious. A month ago, a dungeon monster cursed her into this permanent sleep, and this dark curse is going to kill her very soon. The only cure, kill the caster. But every single adventurer he hired got brutally ripped apart. That is why he is begging Julia to fight for his wife. It is an intriguing proposal, but Julia demands Noah joins. She is absolutely dying to see him fight. Her only condition. This basically confirms she knows his powers are completely different. Noah assures Ozri he will be their backbone, and honestly, the guy is super hyped about this setup. Outside, he questions her detour. But trust me, she only cares about exposing his powers, and we are absolutely here for it. She has never felt power quite like this. It is like something beyond just a mana core is blocking her. Stick with me here, we all know this scheming sister wants his secrets, and Noah better watch his back. Ozri finally shows up, carrying this absurdly huge backpack. Time to hit the road and breach the infinite library. The squad meets up at the lobby. Osrey quickly gets all three of them officially registered. The locals totally recognize this guide. Apparently, he is famous for getting entire adventuring parties completely wiped out. Standing right at the library entrance, Osrey throws his arms wide. The massive doors creak open, revealing an absolutely gorgeous twisting labyrinth. This is Julia's first visit. Seeing this crazy puzzle, she totally gets why guides are absolutely required. But get this, our boy spots a statue of the exact invaders destined to attack years later. This totally shocks him. Why? Because that statue was absolutely not here during his past life as Xenon. This proves their current timeline is directly tied to those future enemies, meaning he might actually find a cheat code to defeat them before the dark future happens. Completely hyped by this realization, Noah keeps his eyes wide open, hunting for the Book of Profundity. Pushing forward, our trio finally sets foot right onto the first floor of the massive infinite library. Noah turns to Osrey, asking if he has even a single clue where their target book is hiding. The guide drops some knowledge. The ultra-rare books are always buried way deeper inside the labyrinth. To find that forbidden book, they will need to push all the way down to floor 20. Noah is honestly stunned. From everything he remembers, the 20th floor is literally the absolute deepest zone anyone has ever survived. Reaching the plaza before floor 2, a whole pack of ugly ogres blocks their path. Osrey tells Noah to handle it, and swords are instantly drawn. With insanely fast, precise strikes, he completely erases the ogres from existence in mere seconds. Osrey is sweating bullets, watching this absolute massacre, while Julia just gives this tiny, knowing smirk. The squad dives even deeper into the maze without a single break, eventually touching down right on the 10th floor. Now pay close attention here. Osrey tells them to keep totally quiet about what happens next. He casually strolls to a shelf, yanks out a specific book, and boom, a secret door slides open. A glowing magic circle lights up the floor. He brags that this is a super secret shortcut he discovered way back in the day. Following his lead, they step onto the circle. A crazy bright flash blinds everyone, instantly teleporting the squad to a totally new hidden zone deep inside the dungeon. Noah looks around and asks where they landed. The guide smiles, pointing out that this plaza leads straight to floor 20. Julia gets super hyped. Realizing they are finally at their destination, she confidently marches right up to the front. But the second they step forward, a massive summoning trap triggers. A giant, ugly elder treant monster spawns right in their faces. You and I know this is bad news. The guide completely panics, screaming an S-rank beast shouldn't be here. Last time he was here, it was just a wimpy, low-level giant treant guarding the path. Classic dungeon logic. But Julia, she treats this terrifying boss like a pesky bug, totally relaxed as she reaches for her sword. Osrey is crying that even working together they might die, but our girl just flexes. She says she can solo this thing with zero issues. She launches herself straight at the elder treant beautifully, dodging every single massive branch swiping at her head. Flipping through the air, she closes the gap and delivers an absolutely brutal slash directly to its body. Clang, her attack literally bounces off its insanely hard skin, forcing her to leap back to safety. The guide is losing his mind, screaming at her that its bark is literally as hard as solid steel. He yells that they absolutely need a powerful mage to even dent this giant block of wood. Too late, heavy branches snake out from every single direction, completely wrapping around Julia and trapping her tight. She is totally locked down. Noah is about to jump in and play hero, but suddenly massive flames erupt, burning right through the wood. Fifth form of her shadow flame style activated. Blazing fire cloaks her entire body and she loudly flexes her ultimate shadow flame black armor. No hesitation. She chains it right into the first form, bouncing across the battlefield at lightning speed to set up an epic counterattack. Her blazing sword cuts cleanly right through that trunk. She literally slices the giant beast perfectly in half. An absolute flawless victory. Strutting back to the guys, she smirks, bragging that her sword is way tougher than any steel. You and I know it is not over. Before they can even celebrate, Osrey suddenly screams to watch out. Stick with me, he reacts too late and she gets trapped once again. Julia stays totally chill. She just smiles, explaining that tree monsters will keep regenerating forever unless you burn them completely to the ground. She unleashes the third form of her shadow flame style. Noah instantly grabs Osrey and books it in the complete opposite direction. He already knows exactly what his sister is planning. She drops a massive explosive burial attack, literally incinerating the whole area. Her goal, turn this entire monster into total ashes so its annoying regeneration stops for good. Monster destroyed. She casually sheathes her blade like it was nothing, telling the guys to keep moving. Osrey and even Noah are just standing there totally shocked by Julia's overwhelming raw power. Our boy starts sweating over her insane offensive strength, all thanks to that crazy shadow flame style. He knows her absolute destructive power is completely unmatched across the continent. But there is a catch. The biggest weakness of this technique? It drains energy way too fast. Noah remembers hearing legends about this move back in his past life as Zenon, but seeing it in actual combat, absolutely mind-blowing. Hitting the 20th floor, the trio starts ripping through the shelves looking for their target book. Noah finally spots the prize and immediately calls the others over. Julia steps up. Time to hunt down the specific monster that cursed Osre's wife. Kill the beast, break the curse, simple as that. Osra mentions he actually ran into this exact monster around here before. If they keep searching this area, they are bound to trigger it. Our hero quickly reminds him that monsters should only spawn inside the plazas. The guide shakes his head. This specific monster is a total exception to the rules. As they keep hunting for their target, Noah suddenly stumbles onto another book. He realizes it holds the exact crazy secret he has been searching for. Now pay attention here before he can read further. They are suddenly staring down an armored beast rocking one seriously messed up monstrous arm. Noah gets totally hyped for a fight and immediately draws out his blade. But right before he dashes in, his sister blocks his path and strictly tells him to stay back. Julia steps forward, insisting she is taking this freaky monster down all by herself. Forget testing our hero's skills now. The night monster opens with a heavy dark slash, and Julia actually struggles to block it, grinding her teeth. That slash is so violently powerful, Noah and Osre literally have to jump back to survive the impact. She is seriously pissed about being overpowered. Refusing to drag this out, she quickly regains her balance and prepares to end this fight. Julia charges back in, blitzing in a zigzag pattern until she appears right behind it. But before her blade connects, the beast perfectly parries the strike. Meanwhile, Noah and the guide are literally hiding behind a bookshelf. Noah watches his sister sweat. The monster is flawlessly blocking her, even though Noah himself can barely track their lightning-fast movements. Refusing to back down, Lady Julia unleashes her Shadow Flame second style, the Flame Vortex. The guide thinks they won, but you and I know better. Noah senses something terrible. Julia leaps to the opposite side of the monster and finally lands a direct heavy hit. But that armor is just way too tough. She does not even leave a single scratch. Then the monster opens its disgusting jaws, blasting a sickly green attack that directly curses the lady's arm, instantly draining her physical strength. But right before the actual breath attack fires, Noah dives in and yanks Julia out of the way, totally saving her life. He asks if she can keep fighting. She insists she is fine, but immediately warns him about the terrifying danger of that monster's bare arm. She figured out the trick. Even grazing that arm slaps the target with a nasty curse. With her own arm already cursed and weak, she flat out admits she cannot land the finishing blow anymore. Noah turns to his sister and asks for a huge favor. He asks if she can pull off that same massive attack just one more time. She absolutely hates risking the move that almost got her killed, but she agrees anyway. She dives right back in, aiming straight for the monster's arms. She triggers Shadow Flame Sword Dance while Noah unleashes his own self-made Macy-style Light Shadow Sword Dance. Boom. Both attacks land a heavy blow, but unbelievably, it still leaves 0 scratches. Staring at it, Julia admits this thing is a true monster. And then, the absolute unit strikes back. Julia jumps high while Noah parries the brutal strike, buying her precious seconds in the chaos. She signals him to retreat, charging up a massively powerful Ein-style second form. She shouts his name, and trust me, you will love this bipolar single-blade combo. Let's dive right into this mess. He rushes in, but the monster literally catches his blade bare-handed. Julia throws out a Shadow Flame Vortex, barely managing to pull him out of there. Noah starts sweating bullets. He realizes his sister just burned through most of her magic core. Running away is looking like their only option. But then, a second monster drops in. Exact same type. Double the trouble, 0 the fun. Suddenly Noah hears this weird voice echoing. It mutters something about powers mixing but staying totally unbalanced. Boom. He gets pulled into another dimension. A glowing figure stands there, and Noah demands to know who they are and where he is. The light drops a massive bomb. Noah is the first successor to the Divine Authority Corps in centuries, and it really doesn't want him dying a pathetic death today. So, it decides to throw our main character a lifeline. It literally hands him a free cheat code, a technique name, Snap. Just like that, he is back in reality. A system pop-up flashes. He just awakened as a successor, and the Divine Authority Core system is officially unlocked. Noah instantly triggers the second form Dual Heaven Render. He glares at the monster. Fun time is over, and now he is collecting payback. But wait. Right as he charges up that massive attack, another system screen jumps out of nowhere. The alert reads, "Invitation has been completely accepted." Now pay attention, because here is where it gets wild. He teleports somewhere totally unknown. A strange voice rings out, sounding almost relieved. It mutters that the Divine Core experiment was actually a massive success. Right then, pure golden energy leaks out from his own blade. slowly twisting into the shape of a man. The glowing guy locks eyes with our boy and introduces himself as Zekas, the previous owner of the Divine Core. Noah connects the dots fast. This ghost is talking about that crazy new power he just unlocked. But Zekas shuts that hype down. He calls the core's defective garbage and starts dropping some heavy ancient history. Turns out, back in the day, invaders from another dimension completely crashed the party and wrecked humanity. Humanity was losing badly. So the heavens literally gifted them the Divine Core just to give them a fighting chance. Shockingly, they still lost. Why? Because everyone was too busy stabbing each other in the back. Zekas himself actually got assassinated by rival factions. They were just too terrified of his overwhelming godlike stats. Those cowards then smashed the Divine Core into pieces, making absolutely sure it could never reach full power again. And that is exactly how two separate cores were born. It all clicks for our guy. Meanwhile, Zekas just calmly drops the fact that Noah is the new chosen one. Noah ignores the tragic backstory and cuts straight to the most important question. I bet you and I are wondering the same thing. Could he have actually won? Zekas doesn't even blink. He swears he would have wiped them out entirely. Hearing that hypes Noah up. Maybe this insane new power really is enough to change the whole world. But Zekas brutally pops that bubble. He flat out tells Noah his current core is way too weak right now. His advice: go fight insanely strong monsters if he actually wants to unlock the true potential of this thing. Noah just flashes a confident smirk. That was exactly what he was planning to do anyway. That cocky answer finally makes Zekas smile. He challenges Noah to prove it by taking out the trash back in the real world. Back in reality, the monster is still lunging straight at his face at max speed, but Noah doesn't even flinch. He stands tall and coldly declares this fight ends right here, right now. They violently clash head-on. Glowing blades of light erupt from Noah's body, slicing right through the beast. A system alert pops up. It confirms he can freely control these light blades and shift their forms mid-fight. Osrey screams in pure hype. Noah totally chopped off the monster's arm. The beast starts panicking and tries backing away. But Noah is out for blood and instantly chases it down. The tables have turned. The hunter is now the prey. He swings his blade down hard, cleanly slicing the entire monster in half. Without wasting a single second, he chops its head off. Easy win. The massive body hits the dirt. But Noah just glances over his shoulder at the second monster, which is already charging a devastating blast. Julia desperately screams at him to dodge out of there. Too late. The beast fires a massive green beam point blank. But Noah, he doesn't flinch. Not even a little bit. You and I just witnessed pure hype. He raises his blade, taking the beam head on. Let's dive back in. When the smoke finally clears, Noah is standing there completely unharmed, leaving Julia absolutely speechless. He casually gives his sword a swing before confidently declaring that this fight is already over. Giant light blades instantly erupt forward, skewering right through the second monster and turning it into a literal spit roast. As Noah lowers his blade, the system panel pops up declaring his epic victory and announcing he just unlocked a brand new ability. A series of text messages start popping up in front of him, and he quickly realizes they are from Zekas himself. The Golden Man congratulates our boy and tells him to use this newfound power for good. Pumping his fist, our guy gets absolutely hyped after realizing he gained a whole new technique along with his evolved powers. Osrey immediately runs over, still completely in shock that the monster actually went down. Staring at the massive hole blasted straight through the creature's chest, Julia confirms it is definitely dead. She also notices that the nasty curse on her arm has finally vanished too. She tells him that her wife must be cured as well, suggesting they should hurry back home right away. Now watch closely. Before they leave, Julia gets highly suspicious about his 2-star rank. She asks where he learned that wild sword technique, but Noah just tries brushing it off. But Julia cuts him right off, pointing out that he cannot simply claim he just copied it. She then starts breaking down the lore behind mana-based swordsmanship styles. There is foundational magic sword, her shadow flame, the speed-focused shadow thunder, and the deceptive deep shadow style. But Noah's fighting style matches literally none of those, making her question what else he is hiding. After a heavy staring contest, Julia backs down, simply saying she looks forward to the day they fight for mana cores again. A bit later, back at the estate, our hero heads over to Eve's place with instructor Kyle. Noah explains he plans to trade the Book of Eon for intel regarding those assassins. He opens the door only to find the room totally trashed, with Cece leaning silently against the wall. Noah instantly demands to know what happened. Cece explains Eve was kidnapped while he was out handling another mission. He reveals the culprit was Skull and his gang, who wanted top-secret intel on our hero. Apparently that absolute trashbag kidnapped Eve just to force her to talk. You and I know what that smile means. Realizing Skull is tied to the assassins, Noah sees a perfect chance to crush two problems at once. He confidently declares that all they have to do now is go take Eve back by force. Kyle nervously asks if Noah really plans on fighting Lord Skull directly, but our hero promises this is going to be a one-sided beatdown. Cece steps up, stating he is coming too because he desperately wants to atone for his mistakes. Kyle tries begging them to wait for backup, but Cece shoots that down fast, insisting they are completely out of time for that. Right then, our main character proudly drops the family motto. He loudly declares that the blades of the Daskell family will never waver against any enemy. Hearing that epic line, Kyle stops arguing. Noah orders him to guard the house, and the instructor swears to defend it with his very life. With that settled, Noah and Cece ride out to settle the score with their idiotic brother. The duo charges ahead on horseback at max speed towards Skull's massive estate. Noah asks if Eve will survive, and Cece promises him that she can totally hold her own. Our hero says he has full faith in her, but asks why Cece is even acting as her guard anyway. Cece finally drops his secret. His monocore has always been way weaker than his siblings. To keep up, he had to train his combat skills like crazy, meaning he needed to steal every single piece of intel he could find. Martial arts are usually kept highly classified and only passed down through direct family lines. It finally clicks for Noah why he could never predict his brother's weird fighting style. Cece says, to keep getting stronger, he will make sure Eve stays safe. Soon enough, they pull up to the estate's main gate. Cece immediately starts whispering a plan to figure out where the goons are hiding Eve, but our boy already has a much better idea. He says they do not need to sneak around like rats. Charging up his mana, he kicks the front gates completely off their hinges. They rush right into the army, waiting in the courtyard. Cece warns Noah that these guys are Skull's pro-assassin squad, so he needs to stay totally alert. The metal-masked guy taunts them for walking right in, but trust me, they are not ready for this. Alright, you and I are jumping right in. Our hero claps back, saying he has zero time for annoying flies, demanding they bring Skull out immediately. That instantly pisses the masked guy off. He snaps back that Noah is in absolutely no position to be making demands. One assassin tries a sneak attack from behind, but our boy effortlessly blocks it, then slices straight through the guy's chest. Even after watching that brutal hit, the leader refuses to back off. He declares absolute zero mercy for any enemy of Lord Skull. Our hero literally could not care less. He rushes in, and the two clash swords head on. They trade heavy blow after blow, while the remaining assassins try jumping brother Cece from every single angle. But Cece leaps high into the air, activates his shadow, lightning skill, and violently slams his sword into the ground. A massive shockwave blasts the surrounding thugs completely away. He just smirks, taunting them to keep coming if they dare. Noah glances back, feeling totally reassured that his blind spot is covered. But the masked leader takes that as a huge insult, furiously warning him not to underestimate them. Suddenly, the assassin leader tosses a scroll high up, spawning a massive, glowing magic circle right on the ground. Now pay close attention here. Noah is confused while the masked guy brags that this exact technique was custom-made to counter the Daskell family. The guy instantly charges forward, gripping his blazing mana sword. Right then, our hero quickly triggers his skill appraisal ability. He sees the assassin is packing several hidden techniques. Noah tries activating his own skill, but completely freezes. Absolutely nothing happens. Left with no choice, he is forced to just dodge backward. Noah instantly realizes that scroll totally sealed off his mana core. The leader mocks him, claiming mere sword skills will not keep him alive here. Right then, Cece rejoins Noah, as the surviving assassins keep desperately swarming them. They are totally outnumbered, and fighting with a sealed mana core leaves Noah incredibly irritated. Brother Cece steps up, telling Noah to push forward while he cleans up this trash himself. He promises our hero that he will be perfectly fine. He insists Noah needs to hurry up and find Eve before time runs out. Reading the room, Noah decides to just book it. He sprints past the assassins at absolute top speed. A few try blocking his escape route, but Cece literally raises one finger, violently ripping a massive stone slope straight up from the earth. Noah uses the slope to blast out of there. Cece shouts that Skull is definitely hiding like a coward inside the detached palace. The remaining assassins instantly try to chase him down, but brutal stone spikes suddenly erupt from the slope. They instantly skewer most of the assassins, leaving only the leader alive. Seeing his squad wiped out in seconds, the masked leader just stares in pure horror. Cece calmly announces that he is his opponent now. You and I should probably check the detached palace. Skull is still looking down at Eve, demanding if she is finally ready to talk, but she is not scared at all. She looks right at him and calmly says her answer is still no. That totally triggers this absolute trash bag. He angrily reminds her that he also captured several of her loyal staff, but Eve just roasts him to his face. She says she feels absolutely sick being related to a massive piece of garbage like him. That makes his fragile ego explode. Skull glances outside, casually mentioning that things are starting to get pretty loud out in the courtyard. Eve smiles. She knows Noah has finally arrived. But Skull just smirks, calling him a total idiot for charging straight through the main entrance. Eve shuts him down, saying, "A real Daskell never uses cheap tricks." Noah bursting straight through the front door fits his massive pride absolutely perfectly. She even sarcastically thanks him for being such garbage. His little stunt is finally letting her witness what Noah can really do. That comment fully sends Skull over the edge. He grabs for his blade in pure, unhinged rage. But at that exact second, Crash Noah flies right through the window, dripping with absolute main character energy. Our boy stands tall, proudly announcing he is here to save Eve. She jokes that he took way too long. But before they can even catch up, Skull interrupts the reunion, pointing his sword straight at Noah. Our hero just smiles right back. He raises his blade, declaring it is time to end this little family feud once and for all. Skull smirks, genuinely delusional enough to think he actually stands a chance in this fight. Noah looks at him like the fight is already over. Because honestly, Skull is miles beneath him in literally every category. That smug, unbothered stare completely shatters Skull's fragile ego. The salty edgelord violently charges forward, desperately trying to kill the brother who dared to disrespect him. Our boy smoothly draws his weapon, taking a perfect stance to receive the incoming strike. The sheer force blasts them outside right through the wall. Trust me, you definitely want to see this. Let's dive right into this insane clash. These two are trading mid-air blows at lightning speed before finally slamming into the ground, blasting rubble absolutely everywhere. Trying to figure out his real strength, our guy immediately appraises Skull. Black lightning crackles around the guy. Check out those stats. Every single skill and ability ranks over 6 stars. Noah just wants to know what his massive problem is. He literally asks why Skull hates him so much that he sent kids to assassinate him. Hearing that, a deeply twisted grin stretches across Skull's face. He basically says the reason should be painfully obvious. Completely losing his mind, Skull lunges forward, screaming that he absolutely cannot stand, Noah even breathing the exact same air as him. Our boy counters, swatting him away like an annoying fly. He realizes Skull completely unsealed his core after stepping outside the magic circle. Their blades clash hard as Skull screams out his deepest insecurities, absolutely furious that Daddy gave Noah all the attention he wanted. Noah manages to deflect the blade, but this total lunatic instantly brings it crashing down hard enough to split him right in half. Luckily, our boy perfectly times his duck and completely dodges that deadly strike. He immediately falls back, knowing full well Skull would absolutely overwhelm him if this turns into a pure battle of swordsmanship. Watch closely here. Skull knows exactly how to mix fake-outs with heavy swings, completely mind-gaming his opponents. Not honorable at all, but that greasy strategy works way too well in a real fight. Raising his blade, Skull tells Noah to be a good little baby brother and just die so he can steal the succession. Then he drops the unstyle third form, the night parade of phantom armies. Suddenly, our boy is completely surrounded by a massive gang of starving skeletons staring at him like he is a free buffet. Naturally, these bony losers pose zero threat. He effortlessly tears right through their brittle frames like they are made of wet paper. Still, he stays on ultra-high alert. This whole undead army is just a cheap distraction, meaning Skull's real deadly attack is coming next. Right then, a skeleton suddenly lunges from behind. Sensing its killing intent at the absolute last second, he spins with lightning reflexes to block it. Shocked by the pure physical weight of the hit, he realizes these skeletons aren't just cheap illusions. As the undead horde rushes in, he quickly figures out a massive attack to wipe them all out at once. Leaping high up into the air, he unloads Twin Heaven Violent Tear. Massive light beams whip across the battlefield, shredding every last skeleton and sending them straight back to the grave. You saw that coming, right? The second he lands, these bony clones keep endlessly respawning like they hit a save point. Totally tired of wasting time on trash mobs, he targets the mastermind directly. Meanwhile, Skull's jaw completely drops, watching his brother solo an entire army. Locking blades with Skull, Noah instantly senses more undead, charging him from behind. His Twin Heaven Tear violently shoots backward like massive chakra, cooking their bones medium rare. Our swordsman yells that no matter how many undead minions Skull summons, they are all just as weak and completely embarrassing as him. Realizing he is totally losing momentum, Skull jumps back to create some distance. He instantly dismisses the skeletons, stabbing his blade straight down. Huge torrents of raw mana violently erupt in absolutely every single direction. A little confused, our boy braces himself for whatever crazy nonsense is coming next. Boom, a huge silver dragon suddenly explodes out from the ground. Following orders, the beast lunges toward Noah with its jaws wide open like he is a free meal. But Noah stays fearless, seeing this as the absolute perfect chance to test out a crazy theory. He immediately triggers the Shinwi-style 5th form, Eyes of Holy Darkness. The dragon eats dirt as Noah leaps super high. Their glowing eyes lock midair as he dives straight down, landing perfectly on its giant nose. Suddenly, the giant dragon's aggression completely disappears. Instead, it quietly lets him stand there, like he is its true master. Completely unable to process this, Skull desperately screams at his lazy lizard to do its job. Unfortunately for him, Noah is definitely the one in control here, because Eyes of Holy Darkness literally hijacks authority over an enemy's summon. Now that this epic silver dragon belongs to him, our boy decides to give its original owner a heavy taste of his very own medicine. Refusing to just accept defeat, Skull violently unleashes the unstyle first form shadow-piercing Fang. The desperate attack violently tears right through his own dragon, entering the mouth and bursting clean out the other side. A blinding flash of light completely covers the sky as the massive dragon explodes into a million pieces like a total fireworks show. You and I knew that explosion was just a distraction, right? Slipping right behind him, Noah delivers one clean, brutal slash straight across Skull's back. Panicked, Skull barely manages to escape in time. Alright, let's dive into this madness. Pushed straight to the edge, he admits he really hated using his cheapest trick. Then, he pulls a bone-white whistle right from his pocket. Boom, a gate bursts open right behind him. Two guys in black step out holding their little sister hostage. Grinning like an absolute sewer rat, Skull smugly reminds Noah that saving their sister was the entire reason he even showed up. So he offers a twisted deal. If our guy even twitches, the pretty little sister gets deleted. Our MC is absolutely disgusted by this pathetic, cowardly garbage. But Skull literally could not care less about honor. He promises to free her once he drops Noah permanently. Then, out of nowhere, boom, a massive red magic explosion blows both brothers backward. Completely dazed, both brothers are just utterly lost about what exactly just hit them. Once the dust settles, they just freeze. A familiar shiny black armored knight is standing right in front of Eve. After that insanely flashy entrance, Damien boldly declares that Skull already knows Eve has zero interest in joining the Battle of Succession. Skull literally doesn't care at all. Damien coldly promises to end his life for breaking family rules. Honestly, he sounds like he practices villain speeches in the mirror daily. The brat immediately braces for the incoming heavy strike. But pay attention here, Noah instantly calls his bluff, pointing out this entire hostage act is just a cheap excuse to steal the manticore. Noah firmly declares he does not care who tries to block him. Before things actually explode, Eve calmly reminds Damien that interrupting a manticore duel is also a massive violation of their family rules. Damien just clicks his tongue and backs off. He lets the brothers resume their duel, watching from the sidelines like a rich noble enjoying free premium entertainment. The tension cranks right back up. Every single eye locks back onto the battlefield. Noah lightly flashes his blade at Skull, casually inviting him to pick up right where they left off. Seeing the guy hesitate for a split second, Noah ruthlessly mocks him, asking if he can't fight without hiding behind innocent children and hostages anymore. Skull totally loses his mind. In his eyes, this entire family constantly looks down on him, no matter how hard he tries. Dark energy violently erupts as he unleashes the Yuan-style 7th form. A purely sinister aura wraps around him, twisting so hard the very air looks totally corrupted. The brat screams in pure rage, swearing he will hack Noah into bloody pieces today. But our hero already knows the truth. Skull's Yuan style relies entirely on cheap deception and hidden traps. Noah quickly figures out that if he avoids exposing any dumb weaknesses, this fight heavily leans in his favor. Skull lunges instantly. Noah cleanly parries the strike, and the fierce battle explodes again, without either guy wasting a single second. Steel violently clashes against steel. The two brothers trade relentless heavy blows back and forth across the torn battlefield. After a few crazy exchanges, Noah unleashes his twin heaven violent rip technique. But shockingly, the massive attack completely fails to pierce Skull's dark aura defense. You probably thought Noah had this right. Well, he is genuinely shocked here. Before he can even react, Skull brutally counters with the Yuan-style 4th form Avagia Shadow. An absolute barrage of dark blades rips through the air at terrifying speed. Even so, Noah somehow blocks and parries almost every single strike. His razor-thin precision is honestly just pure instinct, saving his life at this exact moment. Unfortunately, a perfect defense never lasts forever. An absolutely unblockable slash shatters his guard, launching Noah backward with overwhelming force. Skull charges right in to end it all. Yet somehow, Noah barely tanks the crazy assault, escaping with nothing more than a shallow cut right across his face. Even Skull looks completely mind-blown seeing this guy casually survive such a lethal strike. Then Noah violently slams his sword straight into the ground. Boom, countless light spears erupt upwards. This blasts Skull backwards, buying Noah some seriously needed breathing room. He quickly realizes he is in a way worse spot than he first thought. Skull isn't just relying on cheap, deceptive tricks. His defenses are actually insane enough to absorb direct full-power hits. Noah Daskell demands to know why Skull still uses such cowardly tactics with this much power. Seriously, with that crazy strength, he could have easily fought fair in the succession battle from day one. Skull bitterly replies that their own father never once acknowledged him. Their dad totally believed deceptive talents were absolutely worthless inside the Dazkul family. That deep, burning resentment never faded away for a second. Fueled entirely by hatred, Skull eventually went off and created his very own combat system, the Yuan style. Makes you think, doesn't it? All that effort poured into getting stronger. Their father refused to even look his way. It was like the old man had selective vision whenever Skull walked in. Let's dive right in. Consumed by pure rage, he finally convinced himself this succession battle required a completely ruthless path to victory, so he decides to just go full villain. If it gets him the win, he'll do it. Boom, the moment he speaks, a massive pillar of dark aura erupts around him, blinding absolutely everyone in the immediate area. Done with the cheap talk, Skull goes straight for his ultimate move, Yuan style, 9th form dragon slaying burial. An absolute beast of a dragon made purely of dark aura bursts forth. It shoots high up into the sky before violently crashing down with devastating impact. Noah quickly throws up a shield as the massive explosion rips the battlefield apart. When the dust clears, that shadowy dragon stands ominously behind Skull. He literally looks like a final boss right now. Noah struggles to catch his breath, and Skull instantly notices our hero's mana core is practically running on fumes. He smugly declares game over. A mere swordsman with 0 mana has absolutely no chance of winning this duel. But before this brat can celebrate his early victory, Noah calmly reaches right into his pocket. He pulls something else out instead. Watch closely here. This totally catches Skull off guard, and you can feel the tension skyrocket. Skull is stunned. Noah reveals it is a solidified version of the exact poison they secretly fed him. He actually saved it just for this very moment. Noah swallows the pill without a second thought. Skull screams that he is completely insane. But Noah calmly explains how the poison overloads a mana core and drives the user berserk. He is not afraid of those effects anymore. His body already adapted and overcame the poison's deadly influence a long time ago. A terrifying surge of aura suddenly erupts from Noah, crushing the entire battlefield under its overwhelming pressure. Noah calls the substance a potion, now one that restores his mana, while also unlocking a brand new skill for his arsenal. He looks at Skull and says he has a serious reason why he absolutely cannot lose today. Remembering his past life, our hero firmly declares he will never let another tragedy happen again. Not this time, no matter the cost. Noah instantly unleashes Shinwi-style second form light dark flash. Holy and dark mana surge violently from his blade at the same time as Noah charges ahead. Both fighters rush straight at each other with their ultimate techniques ready for the final clash. The fight reaches insane levels. Every single clash between their attacks creates a massive shockwave that hits like an actual bomb blast. The whole area violently shakes under the sheer pressure of their legendary showdown. The back-to-back explosions become almost too much for Darius to handle. As supersonic shockwaves rip everything apart, Darius barely manages to stand beside Eve in the settling dust. Both of them just stare in absolute disbelief at the massive destruction ahead. When the dust finally clears, there is Skull kneeling in utter defeat before Noah. Now I know what you are thinking, but get this. Noah actually chooses mercy and tells everyone to spare him. Noah simply demands a proper surrender. Skull stays quiet for a second, then finally admits defeat, agreeing to hand over his mana core. Noah calmly accepts. But just as the tension finally starts to drop, Skull pulls out one last cowardly trick from his sleeve. When Noah least expects it, the brat viciously stabs him straight through the gut. Darius and Eve freeze in pure shock. Skull screams hysterically that he will never surrender to someone like Noah, refusing to be looked down on ever again. In a total fit of madness, the brat violently rips his blade free. He viciously slashes straight across Noah's torn abdomen. This brutal attack leaves the spectators completely frozen. The guy really chose maximum drama over a peaceful defeat. Noah coughs up blood. Eve instantly rushes to help, but Darius quickly holds her back before she does something reckless in all this chaos. Skull wastes 0 time and lunges right in for the final kill, but Noah moves just a fraction of a second faster, slashing directly across the guy's chest. A clean, devastating counterattack. The battle instantly flips once again as Skull collapses hard onto his back. Blood just pours from his mouth. Now both of them are slowly bleeding out on this completely ruined battlefield. Noah wonders if the Dazkul family always fights this dirty. And honestly, you and I can agree, this was just absolute madness. Alright, stick with me here. He bitterly jokes that this insane family values their ego way more than staying alive. And right after dropping that savage line, he totally collapses. Blood loss and exhaustion finally catch up. Eve immediately sprints right toward our fallen hero. But Darius grimly warns her that Noah's injuries are fatal. He says the medical squad won't make it in time. Eve confidently says she will handle this herself, pouring pure mana straight into her healing technique without hesitation. She activates Inca-style first form Hazy Lantern. It actually manages to stop his heavy bleeding completely. After a few incredibly tense moments, our boy finally regains consciousness. Noah weakly asks Eve about that crazy technique she just pulled off. So she explains that while she does not fight on the front lines, she can still use skills linked to her own mana core. Noah sincerely thanks her for saving his life today. But Eve points right at Skull's lifeless body. She calmly reminds him that the defeated loser's mana core now legally belongs to him. The whole battlefield goes dead silent as Noah slowly turns toward the body. Now watch this power up. He walks over and absorbs the core directly. An insane surge of energy instantly explodes throughout his entire body. Opening his status screen, Noah checks the damage. His mana core just advanced by 3 entire ranks at once. That kind of insane growth equals years of brutal training gained in 1 second. Even our guy looks totally stunned by how completely broken that reward actually is. Right then, Sei hits the scene. He openly admits he never expected their youngest member to be the one who finally took Skull down. He immediately asks Eve if she caught any stray hits during the fight. She reassures him she is completely fine, mostly because Damien stepped in before things got too crazy. That comment instantly makes everyone shift their full attention toward Damien instead. Damien calmly brushes it off, saying he just followed family rules and nothing more. Heavy silence drops between Noah and his older brother. Then Damien admits the fight actually caught his interest. Because he has never seen power break past the standard limits of a mana core, things get super intense again. The older brother quietly studies Noah with a totally new vibe. It is like he finally sees him as an actual threat, not just some random background character. Damien straight up admits he is highly curious about the true nature of Noah's weird power. Though for now he claims that way more important matters need his attention. Meanwhile, before that awkward family chat can go any further, a messenger suddenly pops up, informing Noah that his father demands an immediate meeting. The scene shifts to Victor's massive castle. The boss calmly mentions hearing wild rumors that Noah crushed Skull and devoured his mana core right after. You and I both know the truth, but Lord Victor directly asks anyway. Noah completely owns it, confirming every detail, without even blinking. Hearing that answer, Victor questions him further. He wants Noah's honest read on Skull's actual skills during the fight. Our boy honestly admits that in pure swordsmanship and mana techniques, Skull easily outclassed him in almost every single category. That blunt honesty catches even Lord Victor completely off guard. Most people in this family suffer from massive ego problems. Victor presses harder. He asks how Noah actually pulled off a win despite being so horribly outmatched. Noah calmly explains that his absolute hunger for power simply refuses to let him lose. The difficulty of the battle literally does not matter. The big boss looks satisfied with that answer, noting that Skull committed unforgivable crimes anyway, against the entire family. So he is totally willing to reward Noah for finally shutting down that toxic brat's absolute chaos once and for all. Lord Victor tells his son to go big. He can ask for literally anything his heart desires as a reward. But instead of asking for cash or epic weapons, Noah casually asks permission to travel to a highly specific location on a mission. This wildcard request instantly amuses Victor. He finds it hilarious that Noah shows zero interest in gold or legendary gear like every other greedy noble would. Our hero smoothly replies that this mission offers rewards way better than any physical item his father could just hand him. Victor quietly wonders if this wild mindset just stems from his endless pursuit of power, before finally giving it the green light and asking exactly where he plans to go. The scene cuts to Noah chilling inside a carriage with his maids. They naturally ask if this little road trip is the reward for his big win. Noah agrees. And trust me, we are heading somewhere wild. Let's jump in. Noah makes it clear right away he didn't travel all this distance just for fun. He casually leaves all the boring travel arrangements to his maids. Selena happily takes charge. Then Lydia throws open the carriage window, practically bouncing as she points out their final destination in the distance. Noah lets out a massive sigh of relief. He finally made it to the legendary city built by humans and actual dragons. Welcome to the famous Dragon Nest City Draconia. But before they even hit the main gates, 2 Dragonoot guards on horseback suddenly block their path. Noah steps out of the carriage. Instantly, the guards recognize him as Lord Noah of the famous Daskell family. The scaly guards bow, introducing themselves as Draconia's official messengers sent to safely escort their VIP guest into the city. But wait, they are still miles away from the city. Our boy senses something fishy, and to make things worse, he feels a seriously bad vibe lurking just nearby. Still, he plays dumb and accepts their escort. Suddenly, an angry voice screams out, trashing his family name as enemies ambush them from behind. Now watch closely, because things get wild. It's the ogre tribe, and they look incredibly angry to see him. Even the dragon guards are completely shocked by this sudden ambush. Noah pulls his sword, knowing those 2 green guards would get absolutely flattened by these monsters. He recalls reading about this exact turf war. The ogres have been fighting Draconia for total control over the region. These two races naturally hate each other. Ogres are completely obsessed with violence and expanding their territory. Meanwhile, the dragons just want peace, order, and absolute stability. Politically speaking, the guards figure these ogres are trying to stop Draconia from teaming up with the powerful Daskal family. Flipping a switch into leadership mode, Noah instantly orders his maids to hide inside the carriage. The ogre boss smirks. He jokes that the lizards must be truly desperate if they need the Daskal family to save them. This massive red meathead even offers to let Noah live if the kid promises to turn around and run home. Annoyed by the overgrown gorilla, Noah points his shiny blade right at the giant's ugly face. He returns the exact same threat. Back off now, and he lets the big guy walk away with his legs intact. You and I know that disrespect stings. The ogre leader's veins instantly pop with rage. This absolute unit twice. Noah's size spits madly. He screams that he is going to grind his tiny human body into dust. He violently stomps the ground, kicking up a massive dust cloud that blinds everyone completely. Noah stays ice cold, ready to strike. Suddenly, two giant hands burst right through the smoke, trying to smash him into a pancake. He flips out of the way at the very last second. Good thing too, because that smash blows up the ground like a literal bomb. Then the monster throws a massive boulder straight at him. Noah unleashes the Shinny Noah-style first form, slicing the rock to pieces, but sadly, that leaves his back wide open to an attack. Seeing the perfect opening, the giant red gorilla grins. He thinks he is about to break the world record for broken bones. But Noah spins at the last second, blocking with his blade. Unfortunately, blocking doesn't help much. The pure, raw force sends him flying like a rocket, crashing face first into the rocky mountainside. Unbelievably, our guy just dusts himself off and walks out with 0 broken bones. Okay, he finally admits it, the ogre's insane physical strength is completely real. But raw muscle isn't enough to win. Real victory always requires actual skill and flawless control. The ogre laughs. He mocks Noah for preaching about technique, while being stupid enough to fight him head-on. He winds up for another crazy punch, but our hero strikes down from the sky. Noah dodges mid-air, slipping right past the massive fist to carve a nasty slash across the boss's arm. One enemy down, he instantly taunts the rest to come catch these hands together. That trash talk absolutely works. All 4 enraged red apes charge him at the exact same time. Big mistake, he unleashes Shinny Noah-style twin heaven tier, turning them into forbidden beef kebabs instantly. All 4 massive ogres crash hard into the dirt like broken toys. Watching the true power of a Daskal lord firsthand, the dragon guards realize his strength easily beats all the crazy rumors. Even his maids Lydia and Selena are left completely speechless by his epic skills. So, what do we take from this? Stay hidden. Noah awkwardly reminds the girls they broke his one rule. Alright, stick with me here. These bird brains act like watching their lord farm aura is totally normal. Anyway, Noah glances at the cliff. He tells the last survivor to stop hiding because, honestly, he sucks at it. Right then, a massive dragon flies completely over them. Leaping down from his massive battle beast, a dragon knight lands right in front of everyone. Seriously impressed, the warrior praises the insane strength Noah just showed. He introduces himself as Adalbalt, the legendary captain of the Dragon Knights. Noah is super annoyed. He asks this mighty captain why he was warming the bench instead of actually helping out. Adalbalt drops a brutally honest truth bomb. Their king has 0 use for weaklings who cannot defend their own lives. You and I both know the painfully obvious answer, but Noah still asks if he passed their little test. The captain confirms it. He officially offers to escort our guy to meet their big boss, Lord Arcados. Soon after that ride, the carriage reaches Dragon Nest City. Selena is absolutely stunned. Dragons and humans are living together in perfect harmony, like it is the most normal thing ever. I mean, seeing kids from totally different races happily playing together is super rare. Following a long ride, the captain leads them to a giant cave guarded by a greater dragon. Inside, glowing magic lamps dimly light their path. Now watch closely. Adalbalt finally stops at an enormous gate engraved with the Draconia crest. The captain announces he brought the young lord of the Daskal family. A deep voice from inside grants them entry. The second, those massive gates slowly open and absolutely terrifying pressure completely floods the area. Feeling it hit him, Noah realizes this is easily the strongest aura he has felt in his entire life. The dragon guards immediately kneel to that overwhelming presence. The pressure is so heavy, the maids instinctively hide behind Noah. Then glowing blue eyes pierce right through the darkness, staring straight at him. As light fills the room, the golden dragon Lord Arcados reveals himself. Trust me, you are going to love this alliance.